Of all the zombie shows, movies and games I've experienced, there's not been a single one that I could get through without pausing and saying, wait a minute. Whether it be something simple and honestly quite common, like the time to turn from being bit, or something a bit more nuanced like the intelligence of zombies. Walking Dead, I'm looking at you. That made me think, there's probably other things that would happen in the real apocalyptic situation that zombie media doesn't really delve into. Mainly because most of it's pretty specific, and not all zombie shows take place in the real world. Either way, I've compiled a list of 5 things I thought that aren't mentioned in zombie media, but in real life would be an issue after a while if there was a dramatic drop in human population, as in a zombie apocalypse. These aren't in any specific order, just how they came to mind. Kicking it off with number 1, the smell. Just kidding, that's too obvious. The real number 1 is that I reckon zombies would eventually all go blind. Now, hear me out. We humans have to blink in order to lubricate our eyes. Without blinking, your eyes would dry out and you'd eventually lose your vision. In theory, talking about how a zombie reanimates, it's only the motor function and basic instinctual requirements, to move and eat, that come back to life. After some research, I now know that blinking isn't actually controlled by just one part of the brain. It's a whole ass event. So this, to me, just reinforces the possibility of blinking not being a part of a zombie's day-to-day habits. If you could even call it a habit, really. There's no set period that you can go without blinking before it becomes a permanent issue, but I'd wager that a few days would definitely make your eyesight significantly worse, to the point you might not be able to see well, or see at all, really. And keep in mind, zombies don't sleep, so they're not going to get that respite either. Or respite, get it? Zombie joke. I'd say that you would have a blind, shambling husk of a human at least a week into the apocalypse. So from then on, you would just have to be super sneaky. And as long as you don't win big on a gambling machine, you should be undetectable. Unless they have super hearing, or smelling, of course. Moving on to the second of the 5, I draw my fuel expiry card. It's super effective, and now you have to cycle everywhere. In a lot of games, like the god tier State of Decay and State of Decay 2, you're playing quite some time after the outbreak, 18 months in that game. Well, the second one. Gasoline, like petrol, only lasts 3 to 6 months, even when properly stored. So in State of Decay's 2 case, year and a half in, any fuel you come across would have gone bad, I reckon. The Walking Dead doesn't show many cars these days because it's set, I think, like 15 years or something after the outbreak. Maybe more, I don't know, I don't really watch it anymore. But the earlier seasons of the show, they were still driving around, but that was also a year, 2 years into the outbreak, which wouldn't be strictly possible. Not only for cars though, remember, most base plans would be running off of a generator. You know what a generator uses for fuel? That's right, Souls of the Damned gasoline. So even if you're holed up in a nice, safe, secure building with its own generator, you have a year tops before that nice, safe place is just a cold, fuelless, empty husk of a place. That's a weird way to explain it, but you get the point. So, as I'm writing this, I've actually just looked up ways to preserve fuel. There is a way. Apparently, you can get fuel stabilizers from hardware stores, namely Screwfix here in the UK. It can prolong fuel lifespans up to 2 years, which is 4 times longer. Well, I mean, for the 6 months. But you'd have to get this item from a shop which may very well have been ransacked during the outbreak or since by survivors. The one I'm looking at right now on Screwfix's site requires 100 millilitres of liquid per 5 litres of fuel. This seems like a good time for a break in the video to thank this channel's sponsor, Screwfix. I'm just kidding. Anyway, to summarise, fuel won't last long, not long at all, so you will have to get good at collecting wood for fires, or start looking for a nice mountain bike pretty soon into the apocalypse. Okay, taking a break from the doom and gloom of previous aspects of the Crucible, number 3 here is actually a positive. Animals. They're everywhere, and they're tasty. Or at least they will be in a year or so, after the human population is cut by 90%. I can read, don't worry. Imagine how many fish will be in the ocean, game on land, and animals in general will be cutting about town and cities once humanity retreats from the concrete jungles. Obviously, zombies would most likely eat these animals too, like deer, bears or foxes, but Overall, I reckon animal populations would just explode, like in the Cambrian explosion. Okay, I put that in the script for some reason. Where a lot of species just blew up in numbers and diversity. There'd be deer all over the place, in Scotland at least, squirrels, rabbits and foxes. Fish populations in rivers and lakes would probably rise to dangerous levels for their own survival. And all these animals would be perfect for hunting and, you know, eating, for food. They'd be food. It is, however, illegal to hunt in Scotland with a bow or crossbow. Make that make sense. But I'm sure the local police won't mind, since most of, if not all of them, will be, you know, shambling blind corpses. Shame. Can you imagine how amazing it would be to come across a boat and just live on the sea, North Sea or the Atlantic Ocean anyway for me, and just catching a week's worth of fish in a few hours? I mean, obviously this would take quite some time to get to these levels, but realistically, humans are a huge downside to nature and how it grows and how it expands. So without humans being around en masse, well, I mean, alive humans anyway, it probably wouldn't take too long before you start noticing more and more animals. Also, mentioning the boat, you might not have fuel for it, but unlike cars, you can sail a boat, so there's that. Splash! You know what that was? Amazing voice acting. Now, number 4, coming in like a tsunami. If you posted up near the coast, your whole camp is gone and everyone's dead. Back to the lobby, scrub. Anyway, number 4 on this list is natural disasters. But wait, I hear you say through the screen. Natural disasters are already a thing, and yeah, they're not great, but they're not the worst thing ever. Not like it's a zombie apocalypse, am I right? Yes, you are correct. Super windy hurricanes and splishy splashy tsunamis do exist. However, we have warning systems and monitoring devices in place. They give us a heads up if we're in harm's way, or, you know, just to give us a, well, heads up. At the end of the world, when most humans are shambling around as zombies, I doubt many, if any, surviving people would be manning or womaning the posts to monitor for disasters that may be around the corner. That means that out of the blue, a massive tsunami could hit the coast of wherever you are, and unless you're down at the beach and see the tide retract, you'll have no idea it's coming. Magnitude 7 earthquake occurs 80 miles off the coast. You won't have a clue. You'll have absolutely zero idea, until a wall of water submerges everything around you. You can definitely see a storm, a hurricane, forming, but what you might not know, or be able to determine, is its direction or category. Would you be safe just hunkering down inside your base or building, or would you need a nuclear shelter to outlast this storm? You won't know until it's too late. And then you have earthquakes too. They're probably, I would say, the second most destructive natural disaster, second to tsunamis. But there's no real warning system for them. You can just detect them when they're happening, and yeah, the apocalypse wouldn't really change that much. Zeditor here. Actually, I'm going to put earthquakes above tsunamis. If a bad earthquake hits, that would probably annihilate every single thing in its path. Well, along the line, anyway. Tsunamis, they're bad, but I think earthquakes are worse. So, actually, earthquakes then tsunamis. But above all that, zombie apocalypse. Although that's not natural. Well, it could be if it's a naturally occurring virus, I suppose. Anyway. Now, the last but definitely not least, the 5th item on this official list by the Z Word. I have no idea what to actually title this, but basically, it's all existing health conditions that you or someone you might know already has. So, like needing glasses to see, being diabetic, needing specific medication like Lily Ritter and State Decay. I realise I've mentioned that game quite a bit, but it's only because it's the best open world zombie survival game, hands down, don't at me. So this final aspect is pretty much just game over in any situation like this, which I do realise is probably why you don't ever see references to it in zombie media. The only times it's ever mentioned that I can think about is that episode of The Walking Dead, after Woodbury fell and the governor met those people in the apartment complex. One of them was in like end of life support for cancer or something, and needed oxygen tanks. So there's that, and then also there's Lily from State Decay. It wouldn't be much of a character in a zombie show if they had very strong prescription lens. Their glasses break in episode 1, the rest of their existence is just them cosplaying as Velma crossed with Daphne, constantly getting into sticky situations and needing to be rescued by the survivors. Would be kind of funny though. So that's also why, you know, if you require strong prescription lenses or you just have really bad eyesight. If you lose your glasses or they get broken, unlucky. Diabetes is another game-ending handicap in an apocalypse. Not enough sugar? Blind. Although, zombies might be also blind, so that could genuinely be a hilarious thing to watch. If that's, I mean, you know, it could be funny. All I'm saying. Thunderdome, blind... I'm gonna go home. This is getting a bit dark. I'm trying to think of another pre-existing health condition that if you had it, it would be like selecting all the negative traits in Zomboid. I'm sure there are others, but my brain's coming up blank. Like, even deafness wouldn't be too bad. Wouldn't be great, but it wouldn't be as bad as being blind or paralysed. Another thing is, a little thing to add on here. In the amazing Resident Evil movies, the live action ones that are just perfect in every way, initially it was said that what's-his-face Ashford was making the virus, the T-virus, to help his daughter who had a degenerative disease or something, and it could heal you, and it also healed him because he was in a wheelchair. Yep, Zeditor again here. I'm going to button. I misremembered it. He is in a wheelchair and then he's zombified and he's also a zombie in the wheelchair. So, no, that doesn't happen. But, it's Resident Evil movies. Doesn't matter that I got it wrong. So in that situation, I wonder if you were disabled and you got bit by a zombie, getting the T-virus, would that then heal you, but you would still turn? Curious. Another honourable mention along with this category is an injury you've had pre-outbreak and survived with until into the apocalypse. Something like a broken ankle or arm would suck, because you'd have the cast on. Yeah, you can get the cast off. Oh, actually, it could be quite good armour. But you still can't really move your hand that well, so bit of annoying. You know what would be worse though? Having one of those neck braces on that gets screwed into your bones. Good luck with that. Running around with like the aluminium monster from Always Sunny, just kneecapping your blind friends and watch the zombies stumble over their bodies as they also blindly clamber to get you, only for you to get your brace stuck in a fence post or something and end up like that deer stuck in the fence that get eaten. Yeah, that's... I'd watch that TV show. Anyway, that sums up this list for now. I'm sure there are plenty more, so if you think of something, fire it into the comments. If you like this video and this type of video, definitely subscribe. I have plenty more where this came from. And if you want to help this video get promoted, smack the living hell out of the like button like it's a zombie's head. Thanks for watching, till next time.